Welcome back, guys. Typhus here again. So, you may be wondering why I'm standing outside Naubana, as last time we were in not Rabanasta, Arcades, just having gone through the Socian Cave Palace. Well, unbeknownst to me, OBS decided that it did not want to record any audio for 2 sessions of recording that I did, so unfortunately, I've had to go back and cut down those episodes for the interesting bits and re-record a little bit of audio. And you might also be wondering why Varn has this shiny new weapon instead of his dagger, which used to be so good. Well, he got a little bit of an upgrade, as you'll see in the next section. Here we have the rewards from the Darksteel Hunt, measly gil and an antidote. So nothing terribly interesting there. And now on to Mont Blanc, getting our rewards from our clan rank. So we get a bit of more gil and another piece of equipment. We get the rewards from the Hriam. And this one again, a little moat and a float. Nothing good there. And the Mandragoras, the last of the clan bosses that we did. And we get from this one Thunder and Wither. So again, nothing terribly good. So now, next thing I did was take on the White Moose down in the Garam Scythe Waterway. So this guy was not, at this point in the game, not terribly much of a threat. Early on he can be a bit of a threat, particularly in his last phase where he spams magic. First of all, I got rid of the Malboros, because they were just going to annoy me with their status effects. Again, not terribly much of an issue with those guys. Thankfully, Barsh is also immune to blind. And now that Varn has finished dealing with whatever he was off in the side area, he can kind of join in the fight. And unfortunately, he did also bring another Marlboro down with him, so that one also has to die. So the moose mostly attacks with magic attacks and a few physical attacks. The magic ones are the ones that are the actual threat, because my physical defense is pretty good on guys. And this guy's magic stat is pretty powerful. But as you can see, his HP is not too much of an issue. Guys do have to use Cure. See, the physical attack does nothing, but the magic attacks are doing like 800 or so each. But again, super strong weapons, shred through the boss's HP, and it's not going to take terribly long for him to cark it. The Garam Scythe Waterways getting to him was a bit more of annoying, and I may have gotten slightly lost a couple of times getting to him. Alright, so it looks like it's got just a little bit more HP there, and there we go. Oh, there we go. The moose is dead. So he will drop a item. In this case, it's the broken key, which is his normal drop. For some reason in the randomizer, boss drops, the hunts that have their own unique drops for the quests, all seem to be dropping them. And that's the reward from killing him. A bunch of gil, which is quite nice. Another moat and a ruby ring. And this one here is the reward from what you do if you hand... so this guy will normally give you the fixed key instead of the broken key. He just gives you a bit of gil in that. Alright, so now we have the second demon wall that I came back to fight. This guy was kind of a bit of a blink and you miss it sort of one. He does not last at all long and doesn't even get his Teliga off before my guys finish him off. And this was the Wyvern Lord, just also in the Ogier Yensa Sea. I came and dispatched him. Barsh has got his spear again because this guy's flying and you cannot hit him with physical attacks unless you have a spear, a gun, or a bow and arrow. And Varn is just spamming some Darkras, which also do some nice damage. At this point in the game, again, my guys are well and truly strong enough to dispatch that guy with no issue. And now we've gone to the Zortinian Caverns to deal with the Marilith. This one you do have to wait before he spawns, and no, fast forwarding the game does not decrease the wait timer. It's based on the game clock, which doesn't increase with the fast forward or 4x speed game thing for the Zodiac Age. Again, this guy is not terribly much of a threat at this point in the game. This guy is another one of those marks that happens to have a drop upon death with his key item. And again, for some reason in this randomizer, he gets his default drop. So I suspect there must be something in the settings that, because of the difficulty level, the marks are just, for some reason, haven't got their drops as randomized. But he gets a lot of evasion towards the end of the fight, like a few other snake-type bosses. So the last little bit of HP does take a little bit to finally get rid of. And yep, another level up. My guys are level 50s. So we get the Serpent Wine Must. And the Marolith is dead. So next we are going to get the clan results. We get another clan rank up for killing those things. Bone of Biblis and Chakrablands. Nothing terribly crazy. That is supposedly the best base in the game, but in this one it's not. That was the reward for the Demon War, which was puny. So we hand in the Marolith to the Tavern Master in Rabanasta. Can only be done with the Serpent Wine Must in your inventory, and we get a lavish reward. And here we have the Wyvern Lord handing in. He's in the armory. And again, a rubbish reward that sells for about 150 gems. Alright, so we had the Aromonia leaf picked up from somewhere. You can talk to this chick in the Giza Plains and she'll give you some stuff. In this case, it wasn't terribly good. Alright, and next we headed back to the Hen Mines to take on the the mark here, which is the Mind Flayer. This one, do not underestimate him. He stopped both of my guys, one hit away from death, fully heals himself, and then buffs himself with some extra buffs, all the buffs there, and then proceeds to wipe my guys. Oh, and he does more buffs, of course. So, yes, stop is very, very dangerous. So yes, this guy, even if you got really good stats, if you get hit by the stop with everyone, he will proceed to wipe you. Because notice that he used invert, so my HP gets put down to really low levels. And then almost any sort of attack that he does, bam, dead. Unfortunately, the stop did not wear off before I could wipe him out. So we get the game over and the reload of shame. Thankfully, reloads are super quick and easy here. So, and we are back for round 2. Barsh gets hit with the invert very early on, which is fine. He gets off a super damaging hit because he has the buff for increased damage on low HP. And this time around, the Mind Flayer does not get stop off. He does get his heal off. He can only do that the once, thankfully. Barsh manages to steal some stuff off him, but it's all rubbish tier crap. And then we have both guys proceed to shred him as he is also slowed. So all those buffs that he also tried to put on himself, they weren't of much use. And he's almost dead. And 1 or 2 more hits now. Alright, and again, damage drops off when they're on really super duper low HP because of the defensive buffs that almost all the bosses get. Some get straight up defense buffs, some get evasion buffs, some get both, some get additional perks that make them extra annoying, basically the higher tier. And now we have the rewards from the Ishtub, which was earlier in the Hen Mines that we did, but never handed in. We get the Shade Stone, which is super good. That allows us to do another check. And now these are the rewards from the Mind Flayer that we just did. And that one is Siphon, which, you know, not amazing, but we get the Age-worn Key, so if we really want to, we can go off and do the Hellworm. Alright, we just got the Protega spell whilst we're in the Gormor jungle, hunting down the Vorpal Bunny. This Vorpal Bunny is super duper annoying. You do get one hit on it and then it decides to bugger off. This thing runs faster than you. So even if you take an optimal route, you basically have to wait for the bugger to backtrack on you before you can get in another hit. And even though I went double speed, chasing down the bunny took about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes just to chase this bugger down. And of course, all the while, it's leading you back through all the enemies. So even if you defeat the enemies do respawn. But here we have the bunny almost on critical HP there. Shouldn't be terribly long before it is actually dispatched. Again, this one has a drop upon death. The clear animation took a little while for it to trigger on this time. And again, we get the rabbit's tile, which is its normal drop, so we can hand that hunt in. Alright, Vorpal Bunny is done and dusted. And then we get the reward from Urt Village with the 2 Viera with their very impractical outfits. Alright, so we got the 8 fluted pole and cotton shirts, which are rubbish. So we got the Shade Stone, and then we headed back to Giza in the sun to go gather the energy from the crystals to power up the Shade Stone and convert it into whatever it wants to be. You can get full charge in 3 crystals if you're lucky. I got it in 4. I have had it at 99% at 3 crystals and had to do a 4th before. So we get, and it takes a little while for it to decide it wants to give us the item. Any moment game, there we go, we got the Yake. And then I look at the stats of the Yake and go, wackadoo. That thing has 250 power. So of course I immediately go and make sure that someone can use it. The only person who I haven't given a secondary grid is Vaan, so screw Vaan being a mage.